Assalamualaikum and good day. We are from Recursive Design Studio and we would like to present our design pre-thesis history site study. We have separated this presentation into 5 main items: site introduction, site location, natural features, man-made features, and SWOT analysis and synthesis. We have picked Singapore as our country of choice with the major similarities with Malaysia in mind. Located at the northeast region of Singapore, we have selected Punggol Planning Zone. Punggol is a planning area and new town that directly borders with Sengkang, Seletar, and Pasir Ris. Punggol is divided into 11 districts, and our site is specifically located at Punggol Downtown District, colored in dark grey. Under Punggol 21 Plus Plan initiative by Singapore, Punggol was planned to turn into a new residential town development and waterfront town. Onto the morphology of the Punggol Planning Zone. Punggol was recorded to be a rich land for agriculture and pig farming, the dominant commercial activity during the early days. As the area was earmarked for a new town, land reclamation was the first step for the urbanization. With the new Punggol 21 plan, it is going to be the waterfront town of the 21st century with a hint of being the first eco-town in Singapore. The rapid urbanization of Punggol sparks rapidly throughout the Punggol, with parks and nature reserves was introduced in between residential areas. With this urbanization and development, Punggol has set the new tone for new towns going forward in Singapore. Interestingly, the history of Punggol started in Tanjung Rangoon, when Kampung Punggol, or known as Kampung Wak Sumang, existed more than 200 years ago. The houses sit on stilts along the dirty and murky beach in this fisherman village. With rich crops, plantations, and livestock, the Malays are living near to Sungai Punggol and along the coastline, and the Chinese immigrants living along the Serangoon River. European settlers building bungalow country houses along the coastline just before the Japanese invasion. The life was tough in Singapore and after the war, and challenging to send resources because of transport limitations. Modern redevelopment started in the 80s, with Punggol executing the land reclamation with a new town slated to be built here. When Punggol 21 plan was announced, Sungai Punggol and Sungai Serangoon had to be dammed up to form fresh bodies of water. Instead of building a long drain crossing Punggol, a new waterway and urban park was introduced for the residents, known as My Waterway at Punggol, with signature waterfront housing and near transport facilities and amenities. The urban living was reimagined, with the population grown threefold in 10 years. When Punggol is fully developed, it is going to be the largest sustainable town in Singapore.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Eddie. Thank you, Zikri. I'll continue presenting population, 1.3 population. As you can see here is a map of Singapore. Singapore till 2020 have a population of 4.4 million and density population of 8,356 km². While Punggol here in a small circle, our site area have a population of 174,450. Density population is about 18,000 km². Density population is a number of people in each km². Now, if we want to compare places, then we might look at the density. For example, in Malaysia, our place Johor have a population density of 174 only. Penang 1,500, highest in Kuala Lumpur 6,000 only. So obviously Punggol is a high density area, 3 times Kuala Lumpur. That is why Punggol is considered as planning area by URA, Urban Redevelopment Authority. Okay, at the site here is a pattern of population growth graph. As we can see, the graph is rising, slightly exponential. It indicates that the growth is high. Since 2004, here the starting point. Okay, here not many building at that time. No proper planning. The population is about 40,000. Population density is about 12,000. In 2005, they completed the LRT station, Punggol LRT station. Okay, till now is almost like 4 times growth 16 years later. This is the graph provided by the Department of Statistics Singapore. Okay, if you can see here is area divided by the Department Statistics of Singapore. They divided into 5 areas. This is our district Punggol Town Centre. Then Matilda, Punggol Field. At the east side is Waterway East, North Shore, and Punggol Canal together with Coney Island. So as you can see here, the population is between 10,000 to 25,000. Sorry, 25,000. Okay, in this place, Punggol, the ethnicity is Chinese dominate 77%, Malay 14%, and Indian 9%. That is the composition in Punggol. Okay, while religion, Buddhism dominates by 34%, then Christianity 19%, Islam 14%, then the rest. Okay, this is the population data for Punggol area and the district in Punggol. Okay, I'll move to population data. On the left side is the chart for whole Punggol district. The rest is 5 area in Punggol district, not including Punggol Canal and Coney Island. Okay, the chart indicate that gender figure is equal, blue and red, and the small number of senior citizen here, a small orange portion, and the age composition is proportion. I would say the data in line with our study. People stay here, live with family, and work outside Punggol. They travel in and out for work. So I would suggest if we were to design a building, then it would be a building that facilitate the life of the people in this area. Okay, 1.4 development. Okay, basically Punggol district is a residential area. Most of the area is residential, but we have public building, plazas, malls, sports center, and so on. And later in future, they will develop more plaza, town hub. Okay, development. In terms of future development master plan for Punggol, in 1996, Punggol 21 initiative was announced by Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong to turn the area into a new residential town. But unfortunately, in 1998, Punggol initiative was not materialized due to the Asian financial crisis. But in 2005, Punggol West LRT completed. That invigorated the development in Punggol. 2007, Punggol 21 Plus was announced by PM Hossan Long to revitalize the town. 2019, Punggol Digital District was announced to create the first truly smart district. Punggol Digital District will not just house the key growth industries of the digital economy like cybersecurity and digital technology, but also be an exclusive green lifestyle destination for surrounding community. Okay, 1.5 legal information. Okay, on the right side is a map showing Punggol and Pasir Ris area. Punggol district is under the jurisdiction of Pasir Ris and Punggol Town Council. In Singapore, the Town Council did not manage building plan submission. They only manage the facilities and well-being of people in their area. The legal system here is almost similar to what we have in Malaysia in the sense that all building erected must apply for planning permission, submitting building plan, and CSC for building approval. CSC is like a certificate of statutory completion. Okay, basically these are the authorities, bodies, code, act, rules we should comply in Singapore. Okay, for the project, first we resolve land matters with landowner. In the first column, you see the landowner, whether it is JCT, HDB or SLA. JCT is Jurong Town Corporation, HDB is Housing Development Board, and SLA is Singapore Land Authority. So in our case, it is HDB, our land owned by HDB. Okay, we figure out that our land parcel is there are 4 land parcel, 1.68 acre. We propose to be site A, 1.6 we propose to be site B, and the rest we propose as green area. Then next we resolve planning matter with URA. URA is Urban Redevelopment Authority. Okay, the matter that we resolve is such as getting planning information, apply planning permission, change use of land. With URA, we find out that our zoning is reserve site. So we propose building like office building, hawker center, service apartment, condominium, hotels, and our plot ratio is to be determined. So we propose 3.0. We calculated that our gross plan area for site A is 20,395. Site B is 19,424. Then next is Building Construction Authority. So with Building Construction Authority, we have to comply Building Control Act and Regulation. Building Control Act and Regulation is like UBBL in Malaysia. So we have to comply with all these act, rules and regulation. Then lastly is technical department, also similar to what we have in Malaysia. Depend on what building we design, we have to consult with this technical department. So that's all for 1.5 legal information. Thank you.
My name is Nurulain, and I will explain briefly on the proposed site location. The proposed site location is a vacant land within Punggol downtown under reserve area. The proposed site is next to the main road, which is to the northeast is a Punggol Central Road, and to the west is the Punggol Walk Road. It is opposite of a commercial building and surrounded by residential area, consists of apartment and also condominium. There are currently 4 parcels of lot number shared the same vacant land, and our proposed site will be use only these 2 parcels, which is parcel A next to the Punggol Central Road with 1.68 acres area, and parcel B next to the Punggol Walk Road with 1.6 acres area. The plot ratio for both of the site is 3.0, and there are some requirements to comply according to your Singapore Master Plan, such as the building setback, road buffer, and green buffer, which is as stated. The building setback is 3 meter from the boundary to reserve 5 meter and also 3 meter for road buffer and green buffer respectively. For the maximum gross floor area, it is calculated based on the plot ratio times the area of the site. So for parcel A and parcel B, we get this value for the maximum gross floor area. From the bird eye perspective, you can see the site has a unique shape as a whole, and looking into the site, you can see there is no obstruction, and the site is just a flat vacant land. From this section, we can see there's a slight slope in the entrance of the site between Punggol Central and Punggol Walk Road, about 2 meters high, and the slope is actually increased gently along the Punggol Central Road, continue to the junction of Punggol Central Road, and then remain constant at 2 meters height to the Punggol Walk Road. Besides that, one of the advantage of this site, it's very near to the public transportation hub, which is in this case, the site is very near to the MRT station. From Parcel A, the site is just adjacent to the Punggol MRT station, and also there's bus or taxi stop station in front of the site, which is facing the Punggol Centre Road. And then for Parcel B, is also just a walking distance to the both of the public transportation hub. So we can say that the site is very accessible to the public transportation.
Assalamualaikum. I am Haniff. I will continue presenting on the 2.0 site location. This is all the perspective from outside of the proposed site, which facing toward the site. The first perspective is a view from Punggol Walk Road. If you can see here, the site has pedestrian walkway connecting all the way from Punggol residence to Waterway Point Mall and to the MRT Punggol. We can say that the site has a good connectivity in terms of the pedestrian itself. Okay, the second perspective is showing from the Punggol Central Road Junction, the main access to the site. Just like the previous slide mentioned about the slight slope, from this junction, the slope has already at 2-meter height constantly until toward Punggol Walk Road. The third perspective, which is a view from Punggol Central Road toward the southeast, where the bus or taxi stop located. There is also pedestrian walkway connected to the MRT station. The last one is a view from Punggol residence toward the site, which is on back of the MRT Punggol. The big lane between the site and Punggol residence is quite private compared to the other roads. Okay, the next slide is the perspective from the site facing toward outward from the site. The first perspective is the southeast, which face toward the MRT station. It's a 3-level building. Second perspective is the perspective of northeast facing the mixed-use residence and commercial building, Waterway Point. It is a 13 height story building. The third one is perspective to the northwest, facing the Treasure Trove condominium, a 16 high story building. And lastly, the south, a view to the southwest facing Punggol residence, which has also 16 level of story height building. Almost all the surrounding building is a high-rise building, so take note that the limitation of the view here can be a threat to the site. Okay, thank you.
As a conclusion, there are 4 factors that affected our site, which is the strength, opportunity, weakness, and threat. The strength is the site itself is a flat surface, so it's free from obstruction, and then it's close to the public transportation such as MRT station and also bus station hub. The third one is it has a strong accessibility, which is the site is adjacent to the main road, and it is surrounded by commercial and residential buildings, so we can ensure a high density of user. The opportunity we can get is there is a slight contour near the access road. Then it is a prominent, the site is at the prominent location, so the site can be new future landmark to the region. And the third one is new building programs can be introduced that complement surrounding context. The weakness is noise pollution since it's very near to the MRT station, and you can expect some from the road congestion, especially during peak hour. And the threat is the limitation of view since the building surrounding is a high-rise building. Okay, thank you.
In this slide, I'm going to present about vegetation at proposed site. Singapore, while small in size, actually boasts a mind-boggling array of 2,200 plant species on record. Among this variety of plants, the type of vegetation that are found around the site could be narrowed down to 3 specific groups, which including high tree, which is 8 to 10 meter tall, medium high tree, which is 5 to 6 meter tall, and shrub as shown in the diagram. In this slide, the type of vegetation that could be found for each area on the site was labeled with symbol as shown in upper right of the slide. Basically, the trees at the site are planted along the roadside and residential area. For now, most of the trees are yet fully grown to high tree, especially at the new residential area which the trees are just planted. Well, for vegetation to be chosen for the proposed site, choosing the right plant for the right place is an important consideration. Ignoring the guideline may lead to increased maintenance, a failure of plant to thrive, and sometimes the death of installed plant material. Careful planning and site evaluation are the first step in applying this concept. Trees and shrubs vary considerably in their ability to tolerate different site conditions, and it is critical to select plants to match the existing growing condition of the site in addition to their ornamental value. Even the best planting practices will not help a plant to thrive if it is poorly suited for a particular site. It is also important to know the measured height and width of selected plants so that they will not outgrow the space allotted to them. Some site conditions to keep in mind while selecting landscape plants including light availability, intensity and duration, water availability, both quantity and quality, exposure to wind and temperature extreme, soil type, drainage, compaction, hardiness zone, competition from existing vegetation, below ground conditions in urban sites, and also above ground wires and obstruction. However, aesthetic consideration for plant selection include growth habit, season and color of bloom, foliage color, texture and shape, and also longevity. For trees selected to be planted, we basically look for low maintenance landscaping. However, low maintenance landscaping does not mean no maintenance will be required, as all plants will require some routine care in order to succeed. In addition to plant selection, proper planting practices and the grouping of trees and shrubs according to their needs of water, fertilizer, and maintenance will go a long way to ensure good plant health. With good site evaluation and plant selection, woody ornamentals will thrive and enhance the landscape for many years. Well, some of the species of plants that are widely found in Singapore that could be planted at the site include jungle flame, pom-pom, bougainvillea, sugar palm, sundew, butterfly pea, traveler palm, lipstick plant, wormwood, and the handkerchief tree. However, heritage plants in Singapore including flame of the forest, tembusu, body tree, flower of the yellow flame, rain tree, rainbow eucalyptus saga tree, angsana, and kapok tree. Singapore lies on 9 meters above sea level, and the climate is tropical in Singapore and has significant amount of rainfall during the year even for the driest month. The temperature here is average about 26.8 degrees Celsius or 80.3 Fahrenheit. The rainfall here is around 2,378 mm or 93.6 inch per year. The driest month is in September with 163 mm or 6.4 inch. The most precipitation is in December with 298 mm or 11.7 inch as shown in the diagram. May is the warmest month with 27.4 degrees Celsius or 81.3 Fahrenheit. January, however, has the lowest temperature with 26.1 degrees Celsius or 79 Fahrenheit. This is the Singapore weather by months diagram, and we can notice that May having the highest temperature throughout the year, and January is the lowest temperature throughout the years. The precipitation varies 135 mm between the driest month and the wettest month. During the year, the average temperature varied by 1.3 degrees Celsius or 34.3 Fahrenheit. From this diagram, we can obtain that the most prominent winds in Singapore are from the northeast and the south, reflecting the dominance of the monsoon in Singapore. On any given day, winds generally follow the prevailing monsoon flow, except when light winds are being modified by terrain or weather systems such as shower or thunderstorms and land or sea breeze. Wind directions are mainly from northerly to northeasterly during the northeast monsoon, started from December to March, and southerly to southeasterly during the southwest monsoon, which is from the June to September. Wind strength is greater during the northeast monsoon. The inter-monsoon months, April, May, October, and November, are transition periods between the monsoon and show lighter and more variable winds. Wind throughout the year show a diurnal variation with lighter winds during the night and stronger winds during the day. The strongest winds occur during the northeast monsoon in January and February. Winds in Singapore are generally light with the mean surface wind speed normally less than 2.5 meters per second, except during the presence of the northeast monsoon surge when mean speeds of 10 meters per second or more have been observed. The other times when strong winds occur are during thunderstorms. Surface wind gusts are produced from thunderstorm downdrafts and from the patches of Sumatra squall lines.
Hi, my name is Daniel and I will be presenting on the site studies related to the sun. As you can see from the sun path diagram, the sun's position is relatively balanced since Singapore is located very close to the equator. The sun shines from roughly 24 degrees from the north during the June solstice and 23 degrees from the south during the December solstice. What does this translate into? When animated, you may see how the sun path moves around the site throughout the year. From 20th March to 23rd September, the north facade of a building at our site location will be more exposed to sun radiation, whereas from 24th September to 19th of March, the south facade will instead be more exposed to the sun. By being close to the equator, Singapore receives a very consistent amount of daylight throughout the year as seen from this sun graph. The longest daylight is 12 hours and 12 minutes in June, and the shortest daylight is 12 hours and 3 minutes from November until January. From this animated shadow diagram, things are quite similar between the March and September equinox. We may observe that from sunrise to 9 am, shadows will be casted onto Site A by the MRT station. And from 4 pm to sunset, shadows will be casted onto Site A and B by the HDB block on the east. The morning shadows during the March equinox are longer in length than that of the September equinox, while the evening shadows in September are longer than that of March. It is to be noted that Site A will cast a shadow on Site B in the morning, whereas Site B will cast a shadow on Site A in the evening. Next, during the June solstice, where the sun is tilted slightly to the north, shadows will be casted onto both sides in the morning by the MRT station. From 4 pm to 5 pm, shadows will be casted onto Site B by the HDB block on the east, and from 5 pm onwards, it will be casted onto both sides. During the December solstice, on the other hand, where the sun is tilted slightly to the south, the MRT station will cast shadows onto Site A from sunrise until 8 am. However, in the evening, shadows will be casted onto both sides 1 hour later compared to June. It is to be noted that Site A will cast shadows onto Site B in the morning, whereas Site B will cast shadows onto Site A in the evening. Next, this bar chart shows the solar photovoltaic installations by planning regions. It can be observed that the highest amount of installation was done in the west, and the second highest is in the northeast, which is where our site is located at. Upon further research, it was found that the National Climate Change Secretariat of Singapore aims to increase the solar energy production to 350 megawatt peak by the year 2020, with the goal of reaching 1 gigawatt peak beyond the year 2020. This would be equivalent to powering 210,000 four-room HDB dwellings for a year. This will be led by the Economic Development Board through their Solar Nova program. The data may be useful for those wanting to pursue solar photovoltaic facade systems. Thank you.
This is the zoning in Punggol district from URA Singapore Master Plan. And as you can see, our proposed site is located on a reserve site. So this reserve site meaning that it is a site that is on the reserve list system by URA. And if a developer that is interested in developing the land, then he would indicate his price and application to the government. So until the government accepted the application, this reserve site is yet to be determined of its specific use and building typology. So this is the explanation of each zoning from URA Singapore Master Plan as well. And as you can see, for the reserve site, this area is for the specific use of which has yet to be determined. The next one is neighborhood context. So this is the aerial view of our site. And because our site is located in Punggol downtown, it is a very strategic location for a project because it is in close proximity with transportation hubs such as MRT station and also bus station. And as you can see, there is also a different types of building typology. So this will eventually create a more diverse human activities. What makes this neighborhood is interesting is because there is a different building typologies existed in this neighborhood, which includes places of worship, commercial, transportation hub, educational, and also open spaces. And because these places are very nearby, it is within 1 kilometer radius from our site, it creates a very liveliness and community-oriented surrounding. So the next part is also neighborhood context, but in terms of residential. And as you can see, there is a variety of condominiums existed in this neighborhood. And because this site is located within residential area, hence this will create a sense of community amongst the dwellings. So this will create a more secure environment. These are the landmarks existed in the neighborhood. So if you can refer to the bottom of the slide, these places are mostly pedestrian friendly, and the people surrounding the area will easily access to the places just by walking or by car. And because of the site is adjacent to Punggol MRT station, there is a chance of tourist attraction because it is connected with MRT line from other parts of Singapore district. The next one is nodes and linkages. If you refer to the left side of the slide, these are the places that act as nodes, which means that it creates a network of pathway for the pedestrians. And if you can refer to the right side of the slide is human activities. So this human activities is defined by each building typology in the neighborhood, such as recreational, educational, retail, dwelling activities, MRT commute, traveling, and also religious activities. And because this area has a lot of residential buildings, so the most highly anticipated activities is for dwellings. And if you can see, there is Sungai Punggol nearby, and there is a pathway or track that is connected with Punggol Town Square. So this is where usually the residents are doing their recreational activities. And at Punggol Town Square also is where they mostly do their community-oriented activities. Besides our site is MRT station. So most of Singaporeans residents uses this transportation mode for their work commute. The next part is road, street and pathway. There are actually two main roads which are connected with our site. One is Jalan Punggol Central and one is Jalan Punggol Walk. So Jalan Punggol Central is a 4-lane road and Jalan Punggol Walk is a 2-lane road. And at site A, it is accessible from Jalan Punggol Central, and it is also has a T-junction. So this T-junction will somehow affect the traffic flow for proposed ingress and egress at site A. And for site B, it is accessible from Jalan Punggol Walk, which connecting with Jalan Punggol Central. And this traffic flow on this road is smooth, but if there is possibility of proposed entrance, then it may affect the traffic at Jalan Punggol Walk. The next part is public transport, because our site is highly accessible through public transport such as MRT, LRT, taxis, bicycle, pedestrians and also buses, because the transportation hub is located very nearby, which it took only 1 minute of walking distance. And if you can see at the MRT railway diagram, the blue ones are the connecting LRT railway within Punggol, and the red one is the northeast line that connects with Sengkang and other parts of Singapore districts. And the train frequency took about 2 to 3 minutes during peak hours, and it took about 5 to 7 minutes during off-peak time. So the possibility of noise pollution is very high because of this train frequency, and it will also affect our site because it is very nearby to our site. But the proximity of this MRT station somehow will create a strong accessibility within the Punggol district and also from other parts of Singapore district. So the increased use of public transport also correlates with an increase in tourist arrivals at this area.
Okay, for traffic activities, I've been divided the main point, which 4 different peak hours, which is 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 6 p.m. and also 10 p.m. Okay, as you can see, during 9 a.m. I also divided into certain days, which is Monday to Friday, which is the weekdays, and then Saturday and also Sunday. As you can see, at 9 a.m. during weekdays, we can see that the road is surrounded by yellow color, which is from the legend we can know that this traffic activities is yellow, which is average for during weekdays. But during Saturday and Sunday, we can see there's a bit of green area during this day at 9 a.m. because we know that most of the people are not going to work during Saturday and Sunday. Okay, for 1 p.m. also, we can see that the congestion, the traffic is yellow during weekdays, Saturday and Sunday, which is we know that during weekdays that people are going to lunch during this time, and also Saturday and Sunday also in yellow color, which is maybe we know that they are going out during the weekdays in 1 p.m. And then for 6 p.m. During weekdays, we know that people are going back from work. As we can see that the weekdays there are sometimes that the traffic will be pause, which is there's slow traffic congestion. And then also Saturday, we can see that there's yellow because some company at Singapore they are also working during Saturday. And on Sunday 6 p.m. The traffic is more toward fast because we know that Sunday is holiday for Singapore. And then for last peak hour, it is 10 p.m., which is the traffic activity is mostly green during weekdays, Saturday and Sunday. We can see that on weekdays there's only a little bit of yellow traffic congestion, and most of them is in green. And then for Saturday and Sunday, there's also the 90% of traffic congestion is green, and there's a little bit of yellow during this hour. And then for the pedestrian and universal design, we can see that the side area is 50% is surrounded by with pedestrian path, and the red one is without the pedestrian path. If we can see that the pedestrian path is near the only the pedestrian near LRT station is provided with roof, and the others is surrounded is covered by only a tree. The tree also been located not so near, so there's a place where the pedestrian path is not gonna have some shade. So accessible route should be provided from the house to nearest building and public facilities, and subsequent across the entire journey, which is this is more toward the universal design, because Singapore is really make this universal design as the main point in designing. So the analysis is external footpath and pavement should be designed to ensure a safe and comfortable journey for persons with disabilities, older persons and families with young children. The first one is the route should be as direct as possible and wide enough to cater to families with young children and persons with mobility aids such as wheelchair and motorized scooters. During designing, avoid having any drops or unexpected variation in level to prevent slip, trip or falls. So it is important to, if you want to do a change in level, it is important to use a ramp or curb. And then the third point is a minimum width of 1,800 millimeter, which is allow at least two wheelchair to pass each other. So if they collide, the space is enough for two wheelchair. So a sheltered path should be provided for effective protection from weather and mean of connecting the building. So as for shelter paths, it is important because for pedestrian is not exposed to sunlight. So whether we are doing a roof for pedestrian, or also use a green element, which is a tree for shading area. And then the passenger alighting and boarding point, which is for disabilities person with you, and alighting and boarding bay provides a suitable location for older person and users of mobility aids such as walking frames and wheelchair to align from board vehicle close to the entrance of the building. One designated accessible sheltered aligned and boarding bay should be provided for each building or complex. Alighting and boarding bay, buffer zone and accessible entrance should be of the same for ease of the movement, which is for wheelchair they will not level for them to go from each part to each part. If you want to do another level from each part, curb ramp should be provided where there is a change in level. So a buffer zone at least 2,500 millimeter in width between the alighting and boarding bay and the accessible entrance is recommended. As you can see from figure 04A, alighting and boarding point with curb ramp and accessible heights, which is there's a gap between the level road and the other side. So the curb ramp have been provided for people with wheelchair or disabilities people. And from figure 04B, so there's no difference between the level, so there's a tactile warning indicator for disabilities person. This is a SWOT for both for accessibility. So the strength is highly accessible through every transportation mode, which is for car, public sport, bicycle and pedestrian. So the site is strategic location of the site is situated near the main road, pedestrian walkway and MRT station, that will create more liveliness of the people in the area that could hinder crime and violence. Most of the area is included with pedestrian walkway around the site. So for the weakness is the location of the site located nearby the main road and MRT station will create a noise pollution for the building occupant, especially during peak hour. So there is only certain place around the pedestrian that is covered, so the people will walk through here without any cover. They also use tree, but there's less tree has been used to protect pedestrian from sunlight. So for opportunity, as the site is located at the cross intersection, the proposed design could address a building typology that will attract more users to come and act as the main community attraction in the area. As the site is located near the main MRT station, proposing a public space is really suitable as people can easily reach this site of area. So the last one is strat. As the site is located at the center part of Punggol, more development will occur. At times, the location may be overpopulated and congested with traffic. The main road may be busy as the site area is located near MRT station, which the car and public traffic user collide during peak hours.
So the next content chapter is the site location itself. So for the SWOT of our site location, the first is the strength. Our site is a flat site, so it is free from obstruction. It is close to public transport station, which is the MRT station and also the bus station. And it also has strong accessibility for people to walk and also the car because it is adjacent to the main road. It is surrounded by commercial and residential, which give high density of user surround the area. So the weakness of the site location is the noise pollution. It came from the MRT station, the road congestion during peak hours and others. The next one is the opportunity. Our site is slightly contoured near the access road. Our site is also a prominent location, so it can be developed into a new future landmark of the region. And the building programs can complement towards the surrounding context such as the residential area and also the commercial area. So for the threat, it is surrounded by high-rise building which give limited nice view towards our new proposal design. So the first analysis is our site is centered spot between tall buildings. So we must reserve a space for wind path to penetrate through the building, and we also can create a pocket space using landscape which can generate static activities around the site. The next analysis is the high density user are needed to be considered. So the synthesis that has been made is the economic use of land by avoiding urban sprawl. And the last one is the population by age must be emphasized during the design stage. So the new typology of building can be introduced. As we know, the population in Punggol area, the high age is basically on 0 until 9 years, 30 until 39 years, and also 40 until 49 years. So as the design process will go through, we must consider this population age towards the new typology of building which we want to introduce to the Punggol itself. So the third one is the natural features. The first is the strength. Our site has flat site typology, so it also have moderate rainfall throughout the year. Trees shaded the pathway, and both sides have certain amount of shading from surrounding development such as the high-rise residential area. So the next one is the weakness. No trees in our proposed site, so it gives lack of pleasant view. And the next one is the opportunity. As we know, our site have flat site topography, and some trees are yet to be matured in the future. So we have opportunity towards the daylighting, the rainfall, and also the solar photovoltaic facade installation, which needs some positional flexibility towards the site. And the threat is our site gets direct sunlight all over the year, so building from both sides will cast shadows on each other at different times of a day throughout the year. The analysis that has been made from the third content chapter is the first one, the lack of existing tree to provide shades inside and also pedestrian walkway. So the synthesis that have been made from this analysis is we provide suitable trees which considered in plant selection in Punggol area. So the next analysis is we must take into account the equinox and solstice climate data which need to be considered during the design stage. Building orientation and facade need to be considered based on the equinox and solstice data. The next analysis is the site is cleared up of structure and large vegetation with no obstruction possible in the future. So it is easily to organize spaces and also for future development in the site. The next one is lack of accessible public park. We can improve and upgrade cyclist road, pedestrian walk and also some pocket space, public facilities so that it can be accessible for every people. So the last Microsoft analysis is based on the man-made feature content chapter. So the first rank is outside is highly accessible through every transportation mode such as cars, public transport, bicycle and pedestrian. So it gives strategic location of the site which is situated near the main road, the pedestrian walkway and also the MRT station. This can create more liveliness of people in the area that could hinder crime and violence. Most of the area is included with pedestrian walkway around the site. The next one is the weakness. The location of the site located nearby the main road and MRT station will create a noise pollution for the building surround and also our new proposal building, especially during peak hour. So only certain place around the pedestrian that is covered. So people will walk through here without any covered. So we must propose covered pedestrian walkway. So less trees has been used to protect the pedestrian from sunlight. The next one is the opportunity. As the site is located at the cross intersection, so the proposed design could address a building typology that will attract more users to come, and also the building will act as the main community attraction in the area. So as the site is located near the main MRT station, we can propose a public spaces which is suitable for the user which that can easily reach this site area. The last one is the threat. As the site is located at the central part of Punggol, more development will occur in times. So at times the location may be overpopulated and congested with traffic. So the main road may be busy as the site area is located near the MRT station, which the car and public traffic user collide during the peak hours. So the first analysis that have been made from this content chapter is the effective system of public transport with a broad range of travel options. So the synthesis is we can explain the number of possible users for our proposal building, not only the residential user and also the commercial area. And the second one is the efficient and reliable public transport system, which have wide range of transport choices, which can expand the number of possible users towards the proposal building. The second analysis is outside is limited roadway pose threat to the provision of pedestrian walkway. So we must increase security towards the proposal design of the building. So the third one is more opportunity for discovery and exploration. More destination within the walk distance can be developed into new future landmark of the region. And the last one is the pedestrian walk and cyclist road, We can improve and upgrade cyclist road and pedestrian walk facilities so that it can be accessible for all people. Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Norafisyah and I'm going to present about the macro context for the SWOT. So the strength is the accessibility city. Punggol is definitely one of the city in the Singapore that adopt the universal design principle, which is we can see in major improvement in the public infrastructure and transport itself. The second one is culture and history value advance. So Punggol before this was the farmhouse, and the activity include fishing and farm produce. Plus with the culture in the Singapore can create a key or a strength in Punggol area itself. Third one is competitive economy in the dynamic urban planning. There's a lot of vanity future planning in the Punggol. If you can see in HDB or in the Urban Redevelopment Authority URA itself, there's many upcoming development building which can increase or enhance the economy Punggol itself. The last one is sustainability. Punggol was actually from the farming village to the eco town. So the vision of the Punggol is the sustainable waterfront town. The topic which is the community want to create is well-being or surrounding people in the Punggol without making any damage in the surrounding nature or other people. Weakness, safety and crime. Public park can be accessed without a limited time. It is surrounded by high-rise building. People from the Alps can observe what happened in the ground floor. And the second one, cultural shift among generations. So the government before this, they developed Punggol. They call Punggol as a 21st century town. But now it serves as a urban living area, which is called as the sustainable waterfront town. So Punggol focus on the personal improvement and not on the protection of cultural, historical places and ideas itself. The opportunity. First one is new metropolis to be in the master planning and development. So in the article of the CLC livability framework, they explain the system of integrated in Punggol. They create a special master planning and development to enhance the Punggol development itself and the planning. The second one is mix of culture. So the Punggol itself, it has a variety of communities and the vibrance. So we can create so many things that relate to arts, or maybe exhibitions, produce the concerts or festival. The third one is opportunity, job and population. As the Punggol getting bigger or enhancing the economy, so the Singapore urban system have an integral role in supporting the country economic development. So it can create opportunity, jobs for the nearest residents or outsider. The fourth one was a sustainable environment, lifestyle and education. Definitely, Punggol is called as a sustainable city. So it can produce the sustainable environment. It also can create a lifestyle and obviously education from the youngster to in the community. So the last one is trade. High-rise building impact, which is it can cause the limited sufficient sunlight, ventilation, heating and cooling, and the view might be blocked by surrounding development. The second one is cultural identity. So this modern development can impact the cultural itself and cause less awareness to the local culture identity. The last one is high quality of life. So the economic, the social, the environment and psychological is getting to the Punggol development is getting stressful. So the Punggol itself has to create a proper planning with a proper planning, tapi dalam masa sama to create urban sustainability life. Okay, next one is for the analysis. So the first analysis is lack of international tourists in Punggol area. The second one is the land use of the site zoning area need to be considered as would affect the local community user because it's near to the resident lah. And the third one is reserve the site zoning. The fourth one, site is located near neighbourhood area and commercial area because beside of the site, the surrounding by the site, there's a shopping complex. There also have the residents. For the synthesis is the city's economy should highly involve of a mixed group between people local and international itself. The second one, affordable scheme in the city for the existing local community live there without having to be affected with the issue of gentrification form in their own place. The third one is economic strength through good promotion of tourism, attract which is can turn into local market through services, public and private investment. And also due to prominent location, the site development can be feature landmark of the region. The last is to establish for a global commercial development, which is can help to reflect the culture of Punggol